Okay, so let me get this straight.
Back in 1996, audiences were treated to the holiday comedy Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad as two desperate dads trying to track down this year's hottest toy as a Christmas present for their respective children. It was pretty stupid all around. Really, the only good thing we got out of it was Arnold yelling,
"Put that cookie down! Now!"
Sure, it's no "I'll be back" or "Get to the chopper!" but somehow that quote has stood the test of time.
While the movie wasn't exactly a box office failure when you factor in the international revenue, it wasn't a huge hit either. And critical response was overwhelmingly negative. It even earned the director, Brian Levant, a Razzie nomination.
So with all that in mind, could somebody please explain to me how the hell we ended up with Jingle All the Way 2?
When I first heard about this, I thought it was a prank, a stupid internet hoax. But no, it's very real. In the year 2014, 18 years after the original, we have been blessed with a direct-to-video sequel to Jingle All the Way. And if that wasn't bad enough, the star of this travesty is everyone's least favorite blue-collar comedian, Larry the Cable Guy. Because I guess if you need someone to star in a direct-to-video sequel to a crappy comedy, you call Larry the Cable Guy. What's he gonna do next, The Pacifier 2? But seriously, why does this movie exist? And why now, almost 2 decades later? And why are they calling it a sequel when it doesn't involve any of the original cast? Why would anyone think this would be a good idea? Who could possibly... Oh...
A billion-piece jigsaw suddenly falls into a beautiful place.
Yeah, I suppose that would explain it. Granted, WWE Studios also gave us Oculus earlier this year, and Oculus was pretty fucking good. But even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. So let's see how many nuts we can find in this movie. Make your own jokes.
So this is our hero, if you will, and you probably shouldn't, Larry, a divorced father of a little girl named Noelle, played by Kennedy Clements. And yes, Larry the Cable Guy is playing a character named Larry.
That should give you a pretty good idea of just how much effort went into making this movie.
Noelle is having trouble getting her father out of bed so they can go ice fishing, and I can't say I'm surprised since Larry looks like the type of guy who normally gets up at the crack of noon. But he eventually rolls his lazy ass out of bed.
Let's go fishing.
I wish I loved anything as much as that little girl loves fishing.
And after an ice fishing trip that for some reason includes a sing-along of Mele Kalikimaka, a somewhat obscure Christmas carol.
Mele Kalikimaka is the thing to say when you're padding Jingle All the Way.
We meet the rest of the family. Larry's ex-wife Trish, played by Kristen Robeck, and her new husband Victor, played by Brian Stepanek. Victor is pretty much the polar opposite of Larry. He's in good physical shape, well-mannered, hardworking, and runs a successful business that has made him a shit ton of money and allowed him to buy this huge fucking house, among other things. And Larry is... well... Larry.
This, of course, raises a very important question. Why was Victor option number 2?
Trish doesn't play a huge part in this movie, but from what I can tell, she seems like a fairly classy and sophisticated lady. So how did she end up with... that? I've heard opposites attract, but this is ridiculous. I could maybe understand if it was a drunken one-night stand or something, but they actually got married and popped out a kid. I know this because after Trish describes her and Victor's honeymoon in St. Croix, Larry reminds her of their own honeymoon from a few years ago.
Sizzler in a movie? Huh? That was some good steak.
If you spent your honeymoon at the Sizzler, you might be a redneck.
Anyway, Victor seems like a decent guy and genuinely enjoys being a stepdad. But maybe he enjoys it a little too much. He wants to spend as much time with Noelle as possible, even if it means shoving Larry off to the side. He even goes so far as to bitch and moan when he finds out Noelle will be spending Christmas Day with Larry instead of him, since Trish and Larry alternate Christmases and it's his turn this year. He will have Noelle on Christmas Eve, but apparently that's not good enough. Victor, what's your problem, dude? Are you completely oblivious to the stink eye your wife is giving you right now? Check out that face. Check out the look on your wife's face.
Gentlemen, here's a little bit of advice. If your woman ever gives you that look, just ask yourself the following question. Would I like to get laid at any point between now and next year's Christmas? If your answer is yes, shut the fuck up. Whatever point you were trying to argue, it ain't that important. Let it go.
Let it go!
Stop it.
In any case, Noelle breaks up the argument by suggesting she have 2 Christmases this year, spending the morning with Dad and the evening with Victor. Victor agrees, and reluctantly, Larry and Trish go along with it as well.
This is going to be the best Christmas ever!
I am acting!
This, of course, is the start of a competition between Larry and Victor, pitting Victor's money and charisma against whatever the hell Larry's got. Victor gets a big-ass Christmas tree, so Larry has to get his own tree, and gets hurt in the process. Victor gets some snow-making machines so they can have a snowball fight in the backyard, so Larry brings some real snow back from the mountains, and gets hurt in the process. Victor decorates his huge estate with a bazillion Christmas lights, so Larry has to do the same to his trailer. And gets, yeah, you get the idea.
Daddy?
Harry, are you okay?
Am I in heaven?
Did I miss something? When did this turn into Looney Tunes?
Come to think of it, something similar happened in the first movie. And it was stupid then, too. After suffering one injury too many, Larry decides to vent his frustration to his best friend Claude, played by Anthony Corelli, better known as WWE superstar Santino Marella. And after hearing him use a phony Italian accent for years in WWE, hearing him speak with his normal voice is a little weird. Larry has won wait a second, wait just a second. Is that Tin Man flipping us the bird?
Well, he may not have a heart, but he certainly has balls.
Well, as I was saying, Larry is wondering how he can compete with Victor, and Claude responds with the obvious question.
Why do you feel the need to compete with Victor? Noelle doesn't care about that stuff. She loves you for you, Larry.
Excellent point. Thank you, Claude.
So everyone learns a valuable lesson, and they all have a very Merry Christmas. The end.
Well, all things considered, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Kinda stupid, yeah, but at least it was short. Well, that about wraps it up for 2014. Until next time, I'm the Smeghead, and I wish you all a merry... It's not over yet, is it?
Yeah, I should have known I wouldn't get off that easy. I never do. Noelle is writing a letter to Santa, as many children do, and Larry offers to drop it in the mailbox for her. This is, of course, an excuse to sneak a peek at the letter and find out what she wants for Christmas, which shocks and appalls Claude, who is mailing his own letter to Santa.
And he's completely serious about it. Let's face it, even if he's not using the accent, he's still playing Santino.
Despite Claude's misgivings, Larry checks out the letter.
For Christmas, I want my family to get
Together as one.
Harrisone.
Together as one.
Harrisone.
Together as one, you holly jolly jackass! She wants her entire family together for Christmas! Which makes me wonder why she asked for 2 separate Christmases instead of just one with the entire family together, and why she doesn't simply ask her family for that now. You really don't need Santa's help on this one, kid. You can handle this on your own. Of course, if you did, then we wouldn't have a movie. Oh, right.
Larry takes the letter to a local toy store with a logo that borders on copyright infringement and asks one of the employees what the hell Harrisone is. He assumes Noelle must have meant Harrison, which, as unlikely as it may seem, is the name of the most popular toy in the world right now. Yep, this is our Turbo Man this time around. And much like Turbo Man, the store is all sold out of Harrison bears, so Larry has to drive all over town in the hopes of finding one of these damn bears. Unfortunately, Victor finds out about Larry's plan because he ordered the head of security at his company to spy on him. No, I'm not kidding. And it gets worse. Victor decides he has to be the one to give Noelle the Harrison bear instead of Larry, so he orders his head of security to visit every toy store in town early the next morning and buy all of the Harrison bears just so Larry can't get one.
That is seriously his plan. And do you know what he calls this plan? He calls it, and I swear I'm not making this up, Operation Who's Your Daddy? Yeah. Just imagine this guy saying those words and then try to not have nightmares. This, of course, raises several important questions. 1. The fuck is wrong with you? 2. Do you and your head of security really have nothing better to do? 3. The fuck is wrong with you? 4. You do realize this plan is completely pointless if Larry just decides to buy the bear online, right? Or do you also plan to go through his mail, breaking several laws in the process? And 5, Victor, I don't know if you noticed, but you're rich, biatch! You own a multi-million-dollar corporation, you have a house that's bigger than some countries. If you're really so insecure that you feel you have to buy your stepdaughter's love, just get her a fucking pony and be done with it.
Things get really stupid when the almost copyright-infringing toy store gets a new shipment of Harrison bears and people start lining up in the small hours of the morning to buy one. Unfortunately, the security douchebag is at the front of the line and somehow manages to walk out with every single bear, even though it looks like they let everyone into the store at the same time.
How did he manage to grab the entire stock of Harrison bears, walk them up to the register, ring them up, and then walk out of the store the same way he came in without any of the other people spotting him?
We've all seen those crazy Black Friday videos where people are fighting, trampling, and even pepper spraying each other just to get a fucking Xbox. There's no way that man would have made it out of that toy store alive. For that matter, why did the people running the toy store even let him get away with that? Don't they normally put limits on popular low-stock items? In fact, Larry asked that same question.
You got like some kind of a one per family limit or something?
I don't even have to question this movie's logic. It's calling bullshit on itself.
After a really weird and not all that funny dream sequence that involves Larry finding a talking toy of himself...
Hi, I'm Larry the Loser Bear. Get her done.
Because of course they had to stick that in somewhere.
Larry wakes up to find himself watching the Channel 1 news.
Which means he must still be dreaming because there is no Channel 1.
A reporter is talking about a soup kitchen that's giving out toys to needy children, and of course one of those toys is a Harrison bear. Oh no.
You could not be thinking what you're thinking right now.
Again, this movie seems to be fully aware of how stupid it is.
And sure enough, Larry dresses up like a bum so he can con the soup kitchen Santa out of a free toy. This is supposed to be the hero of the story, right? To be fair, he does leave them a monetary donation, but this is still pretty damn shameful.
He's taking toys from homeless children. That's about as low as you can go. Between Larry doing this and Victor's general douchebaggery, I'm kinda hoping the movie ends with the two of them killing each other in a street fight. Trish and Noelle would be better off on their own.
But Larry barely gets out the door before he runs into a poor kid with a sob story about his dad being in jail and mom needing an operation and yada yada yada, and Larry realizes he's being a dirty fuckweasel and gives the kid the bear.
How much you want to bet the kid is working for the security guy?
Nice work, kid. $50 is agreed.
Well, I sure hope somebody picks up that phone.
Do what?
Because I f***ing called it!
Is this asshole seriously stalking Larry 24 hours a day? How was he even able to pull that off?
He's gotta sleep sometime. And how is he such an expert at this anyway? It's not like he's an undercover FBI agent or a private investigator or something. He's just a security guard in a fucking factory.
It doesn't make any sense.
Eventually, Larry figures out Victor is the one that's been buying up all the Harrison bears, so he sneaks into the company's headquarters. Which is apparently very easy to do, even though the company's head of security has supposedly been tailing him the entire time.
And the one time he's not is the day Larry sneaks into the building. Damn it, man, you had one job!
Larry catches Victor red-handed and tries to swipe a bear for himself since Victor clearly has plenty to spare, but thanks to an allegedly hilarious turn of events, they end up locked in the warehouse. This leads to a fight scene? If you can even call it that?
What in the festive fuck am I watching here? Two grown-ass men attacking each other with stuffed bears? When I said I wanted them to fight to the death, this is not what I had in mind. Now, if they were using coat hangers, then maybe they'd be onto something.
Eventually, they realize they're grown-ass men hitting each other with stuffed bears, and they finally have their I've learned something today moment, work out their differences, and escape from the warehouse. And they decide the entire family should spend Christmas together at Larry's trailer, which means Noelle got her Christmas wish after all.
I'm not sure why they chose Larry's trailer over Victor's big-ass mansion, but to each his own, I guess.
So that's Jingle all the way too. And it's about what I expected. Larry the Cable Guy is really just playing himself, which seems to be the only character he knows how to play, and I suppose he does it well, but he's basically a one-trick pony. The rest of the acting was hit and miss, the directing was likewise, and the story was just stupid. What really gets me is this is a sequel to Jingle All the Way pretty much in name only. It has none of the original actors, and the story only vaguely resembles that of its predecessor. I have no idea why they would try to ride the coattails of an 18-year-old movie that wasn't all that successful in the first place. But while the movie isn't very good, I suppose it's mostly harmless. It's bad, but not offensively so. And it's mercifully short with a runtime of only 93 minutes.
I certainly wouldn't recommend it, but all things considered, it could have been worse. And I guess that about wraps it up for 2014, but I'll be back in the new year with another look at an old franchise. Until then, I'm the Smeghead, and Hollywood can suck it. This, of course, raises several important questions. 1. The fuck is wrong with you? 2. I forget.